Hello and welcome to the Tarkus Zone. Thank you for joining me. Today we're talking about my SMARTRAVEL bike and I'm giving an update. I had one of my subscribers ask me for an update where I was at with this bike. 4 months ago, if you've been watching my channel, it started an error code E002. I reached out to SMARTRAVEL. They sent me a new controller box. I replaced the new controller box. That controller box worked for about a day and then the bike threw, that's the new box, it threw the error code 002 again. So I reached out to SMARTRAVEL, which they promptly, 2 weeks later, sent me a new controller box, thinking, okay, it must be the controller box, let's replace another one. Well, I put the new controller box in, which would have been my second new one, and that did not fix the bike. So what it came down to is they like, okay, so it wasn't the controller box, something else is wrong with the bike. Since then, SMARTRAVEL replaced the line, the main line that goes through the bike. I have it here on the outside. I didn't want to run it through the bike. I bypassed the old, this goes to the old main line that's in the bike, that's weaving through this bike. I replaced it with the new cable, so they tried that. They're like, let's give you a new main cable and hitch it all back up to the new controller box and see if that fixed it. That did not fix it. So then they were like, okay, if that didn't fix it, then it's got to be the headlight and the headlight switch. So they sent me a new headlight, which is right here, and a new headlight switch, which is right here. And those are connected according to design to where I needed to connect it. And the bike still gave me the E002 error code. So then I reached out to him and said, okay, we replaced the main line, we replaced the controller, we replaced the switch. At that point, they said to me, well, we want you to get a professional here to look at your bike. Get a professional e-bike person to look at the bike and have them tell you what's wrong with it. And we'll pay for it, is what they said. Well, I had already done that. I had already got somebody here that was willing to come look at the bike and do a home visit, because unfortunately in the state of Vermont, we've only got 8 e-bike repair specialists in the entire state, and none of them will allow a SMARTRAVEL bike in their shops. They're afraid of the batteries. And I can understand because of how big this battery is. So they were like, no, we're not gonna allow that bike to come into our shop, but we'll send a technician. One of the repair people said, we'll send a technician. It will be $60 for the first hour. It shouldn't take them an hour to do a diagnostic on the bike. So they came, they looked at the entire bike. They made sure that I had connected all the cables correctly. They had a little meter that allowed them to make sure power was going through it. They tested everything they were supposed to test, and the bike was still throwing the E00. Let me get it to come on here. It was still throwing the E002. Let me, there it is right there. You saw it, what it was, I pushed the button. So I've got 1,700 miles on the bike, and that error code, well, it was there. Let me see if, yeah. We just turn this throttle, sometimes the throttle. See, if I turn the throttle, nothing's happening, even though I'm on pedal assist 2. And believe me when I tell you this, there's an error code. I must have just hit the button. It's probably got to go through a reset cycle for it to show us that, but it's there. And again, we can see that it's on pedal assist 3 and the throttle is not working. So I got back to SMARTRAVEL and said, look guys, I did have a professional look at it and I'm willing to have them come again if you can tell me what it is that they need to look at, because you've replaced the main line, you replaced the controller box, you replaced the headlight and the headlight switch. The only thing we got left, well, we got a couple things left. We've got the sensor on the pedal. That could be it. We got the hub itself could be causing the problem, or it could be the throttle. It could be the throttle mechanism that's causing the problem. So it could be the throttle mechanism, the pedal sensor. So when you turn the pedal, there's a sensor here. That's what this cable's for. And then you've got the hub. So they They reached out and said, oh, we're willing to pay you to have that technician come out again, have him try X, Y, and Z. So the technician on the phone said, I tried that when I was there last. That is not the problem. You've got the power, everything's connected correctly, even though it looks dirty here, guys. It's all connected correctly. There's no point taking the old headlight off when the new headlight, when you plug it in, is not fixing the problem. Or the new switch. There's no point of replacing the switch that's on the bike if the new switch, when plugged in correctly, is not correcting the problem. So here we are, folks, 1,700 miles. It still hasn't brought up that E002 code. I mean, the headlight comes on, or I'd have to use the new switch. Let me just, the headlight's coming on. That's not a problem. New switch is working. But again, I'm not getting any power to the hub at all. I'm just resetting this, see if we can get the code to come up. And again, I'm doing this video only because I had a subscriber ask me, where are you at with your SMARTRAVEL bike? You haven't done it. There it is right there. You haven't done any videos on it. I just bought one. Well, I can safely say, and I'm going to tell you this honestly, that these SMARTRAVEL people have done what they should be doing, is they've been working with me, troubleshooting, sending me parts on their dime. I haven't paid for any of the parts that they sent. I've only had to pay for whatever time I put into it, if you put a value on that, and then having the technician come out and put a value on that. And like they said, they were willing to pay me for that loss. They say that, but we're now, what, 4 months? And this thing is still broken, and I have no idea what's wrong with it. All right, thank you for joining me.